Hey, and welcome to Rob's Camino. We have one of my Camino buddies here. It's Jenny again. Welcome, Jenny. Jenny's been giving some great insights on accommodation and volunteering, and we'll put links to those videos up here. But this week, we're going to find out, Jenny, what's your top 5 tips for walking the Camino and really, getting the most out of the Camino, whatever that is. I guess we all go for different reasons, don't we?
Okay. Well, the tip number 1 for me is to do a proper preparation to train properly.
Yeah.
And then when you start, just ease your way into it.
What is proper training?
Just try to get up about 10 or 15 Ks at least 3 times a week in the months before you leave. If you're walking with a backpack, basically do the last part of that training for about the last 2 months with the backpack, with all your gear inside, and so you know what you're going to be hauling on your back every day while you're on the Camino. But once you're there, once you start, wherever you start, just ease your way into it, and just do the small distances, about, again, 10 or 15 Ks a day for about the first 6 or 7 days. And that's particularly important if you're doing the Camino Frances from Saint-Jean, because those first few days, they're really tough. You've got to get yourself up and over the Pyrenees, and then after Pamplona, you've got the Alto de Perdón to get over. And so be kind to yourself. And you're not going to be short of accommodation anywhere. There's along most parts of the Camino, there's a town every 5 Ks or so. And because there's a town every 5 days or so, you've got accommodation every 5 days, every 5 Ks or so. So that's not a problem. Yeah. And then gradually build up the distances, and just walk slowly. If you've got the time, just be slow and take plenty of breaks. Take your shoes and socks off and have a toe wiggle, have a snack, stop at a bar, have a coffee, have lunch, and just break up the day. And so you don't have hours upon hours of walking, because that's when you get tired.
Yeah.
Number 2, which I know is a tip that you really prescribe to people, is adequate hydration. And really, you need to have at least 2 litres of water with you at any one time. And so if you have 2 1-litre bottles, either side of the pack, and you drink from either bottles, taking turns, or if you have a bladder, some people prefer the bladders. So just make sure that you're adequate.
Some people walk with quite a small bottle, maybe just one 1-litre bottle or even less.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit risky, particularly in warm weather, because you sometimes you'll come to a font, where you can top up with water and it's not working and things like that.
Yeah, that's right.
And hydration, I don't know whether you've ever run out of water. It is not fun.
I nearly did one time a couple of years back. Yeah, and that wasn't fun. And I was on part of the Camino that I'd been before, and so I knew where the fountains were. And this particular day, the fountain that I was expecting to fill up from wasn't working, and I made the mistake of emptying out the bottle beforehand, because I was expecting to get lovely fresh cold water.
Same thing happened to me my first time, just prior to Colorado, and I forget the name of the village. But it was a really hot day, and I was down to about 300 mils of water. Yeah. I looked at the guide, and there's a font in the middle of the village. So I drank the last 300 mil. Yeah. And I thought I'll fill up in the village, and I got there, and it was non-potable water.
That's right. I know the village,
and nothing was open. 6-7 Ks to go in really hot weather. With no water.
No, it's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Yeah.
Okay. So what else?
So number 3, the right shoes, and make sure that your shoes fit very well. You need to get your shoes at least 1 size larger, because your feet swell during the day.
Yeah.
And you need to get a shoe that's got a roomy toe box. And so your toes during the day will start to flatten out and swell. And if the toe box is too tight, you risk getting blisters.
Yep.
So proper shoes and roomy shoes that fit well. Yep. And for me, I find that a trail runner works really well because it's light. Yep. Some of the heavier hiking boots are just too heavy. I've got a small frame.
I wear lightweight hiking boots, and I have tendon problems. And actually, a physio in Carry-On our last Camino said, throw those away. You don't need them.
Yeah. No, you don't.
So trail runners.
Yeah, trail runners are the way to go. Yeah,
just that extra little bit of weight of even the lightweight boot was just aggravating.
Yeah, a bit too much. Exactly. And the trail runners will also give you a good thick sole and good shock absorption. And with the trail runners, I've had about 4 pairs of La Sportiva trail runners now. They're an Italian brand. They don't even need any breaking in.
No,
so they're fabulous. They're a fabulous shoe, and wool socks, of course.
Yeah.
So,
I've got a whole video on foot care. I'll put a link to that up there.
Yeah.
There's a whole regime, that there's what you put on your feet and how to avoid blisters and so on. So, shoes. What would be another tip?
Yeah. Another tip is just to be open-minded. And
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, because not every day is going to be a great day, and you might get into a wave of people who are partying, and you're inconvenienced by that. And so what you can do then is you think, well, okay, that's their Camino. It's not my Camino. And so it's giving everyone respect, even though possibly at sometimes those people might not really deserve respect because they've been misbehaving and partying too much. So being open-minded and just embrace everything that you see and everything that you experience.
And I think that's a good point, that you might hit a sort of wave of pilgrims and suddenly it's really busy and noisy and things like that. But there's very easy ways to avoid that. You can speed up if you're able to and get ahead of them. Slow down.
Exactly.
Some of the things I'll often leave later in the morning. And I'll find I have the path to myself.
Yeah, exactly.
There's little ways around it.
Yeah, there is. And you'll figure it out for yourself as you get into it. And I must say, a lot of people really go for being part of a Camino family.
Yes.
And for me, and everyone's different, but for me, I don't think that's necessary. And you don't want to get into a situation where if you've started at St. John and you fall in with a Camino family and there may be 1 or 2 people in that group that you think, I don't know if I want to spend that much time with them, that you feel obligated to the rest of them. So you end up walking the whole way. It can be 5 or 6 weeks
really good
over to Santiago. So don't feel pressured.
I kind of
to be part of the family.
It's a really good point. I tend to kind of walk on my own. The first time I kind of did fall in with a bit of a Camino family, a whole bunch of Aussies, which was really nice. They were delightful people. But I like to walk on my own. And what was quite nice, at the end of the day, I'd come into a village or something and there'd be, 6, 8 people that I knew and we could sit and have a coffee.
Exactly.
A lot of people like to hang together all the time.
Yeah, they do. But again, it becomes like walking in a group.
Yeah.
It becomes insular. And if you're walking by yourself during the day and you're meeting new people every night, and you might meet some of the same people that you met the night before, you're getting a much broader Camino experience.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I have walked with people, with someone, and I've walked alone. And in fact, I've got a video about that. Should you walk alone? For me, hands down, walking on your own is much.
Walking solo is best for me too. Ultimate in freedom and flexibility.
And in fact, a friend of ours, I had a chat like this a little while ago, David, and he was of the same view. And actually, he made a really good point. He said, if you're walking with other people, and particularly after you've been walking for a while, you kind of almost get that Zen state where, you know, you're noticing nature around you. You're just, you know, so relaxed and kind of part of the whole thing. And little things will happen. Little signs or instances will happen which will make you think and reflect. And he made the point, if you're walking with other people, they're distracting you and you'll miss them.
Yeah, you miss it. Yeah, you miss it.
Yeah.
When I walked in 2012, I walked from Leon to Santiago with the group.
Yeah.
And I didn't do the from Ponferrada onwards until last year.
Right.
And in those 7 years since 2012, I'd forgotten practically everything from Ponferrada onwards, and it was because I was focusing on the people I was walking with and not my surroundings. And I just couldn't believe the difference. Even though I walked with my family last year, because I'm a very slow walker, I chose to walk by myself every day, and I'd meet up with the family when we got to Albergue. That's right.
Same with Pat, my wife, and I. When we walk together, we walk apart. Because that's the thing. Even if you're walking with someone, it's very hard to walk at the same pace and speed as someone else. And what will happen is you're correcting your stride or your pace to match them, and you'll actually injure yourself.
That's it.
Because it's not natural for you.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. That's true. And when you're by yourself, you do notice a lot more because you're not focusing on someone else. So the things that I saw last year just were incredible, and
and you get so much more freedom, I think, walking on. You don't have to worry, you know, should we stop? Jenny might need a bathroom, or, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, you hungry? You want to stop for lunch yet? You know, it's just so much more freedom. And I was chatting with David the other day, and I'll put a link up here to his videos. We were laughing, you know, about some of the things that you notice. I don't know whether you recall coming down from the Cruz de Ferro across those hilltops, beautiful scenery, and there's always a whole bunch of cows in the paddock there. I just sat for half an hour watching the cows. I mean, it was glorious. You know? I had calves and watching what they're up to. And if you're with people, they'd be going, "Come on, Rob," you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Also, just with the Cruz de Ferro, I think that is an experience that's a deeper experience if you have that, if you're there by yourself rather than other people. And it's because it's such a special place on the Camino. I think even if you're walking with other people, if you could give your friends the space.
Yes, absolutely.
As you get there, because it's very emotional. It's a lot of people become very emotional. I've cried buckets up there.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I'm a big crier and a hugger on the Camino.
Yes, true. I'm a big crier and a hugger all 24/7, 365 days of the year.
I can remember my first stop at the Cruz de Ferro, which was in 2015. I was a bit of a late starter. And I have to say, when I'm going up to the Cruz de Ferro, I tend to try to stay closer to it and leave very early in the morning, so that it's more peaceful, you know, before a lot of people get there, because it's a very moving and emotional place. And I kind of had in my mind, and I had my pilgrim's prayer, what I was going to say, and I had my stones to leave for people. And I knelt at the cross and said my prayer and dropped my stones. And it was one of those really strange experiences. I was about to get up as I was kneeling at the cross, and I felt like I couldn't get up. Something was holding me. And it was almost like someone, I mean, these are the weird things that happen when you're kind of walking on your own. It was like someone saying, "You've forgotten something." And I pondered for a minute and went,
thank you.
I've forgotten to give thanks for something else.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
It's kind of those little emotional things you kind of miss when you're
That's true.
distracted by people.
Yeah. And there's that sort of sacred magic that happens at lots of different places along the Camino.
Yeah, it is.
And you can even get a waymarker that'll speak to you, and you just stop looking at the waymark, like you just can't.
Yeah. People watching this, if you haven't walked a Camino, you're going to think we're really weird.
Exactly.
I tell you what, when you've been walking across Spain for 3 or 4 weeks on your own, 8-10 hours a day, you become so connected with the environment. And
you do.
Yeah.
You do. And it's those simple pleasures of as well of walking and just putting one foot in front of the other. It's just, it's wonderful. There's nowhere else in the world like it.
No.
Really.
I was joking with someone the other day, and I think I was saying, I'm planning my next Camino, and when's it going to be? And they said, you must enjoy bushwalking, which is what we call hiking in Australia. I said, no, don't like it at all. Well, but you must like walking and hiking. I said, no.
No.
It's got nothing at all to do with hiking.
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
which I think is why sometimes when people who are used to, doing lots of hiking and they go on the Camino and kind of go, well, this is a bit boring because we're walking through fields and little villages all the time and not over mountains,
Oh, yeah.
That's
wonderful. And it's about the inner journey as well. And just that silence that will bring memories up and thoughts up, and there's no one around to see you process those thoughts. Right. We all know people who have cried and cried during the day when no one's around. Absolutely. And I've done it myself.
I think everyone has.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a really cleansing, cathartic experience.
It is. Yeah.
And then you get to the end and you think, I need to do a bit more. So like there's
really
cleansing that has to happen.
Lucky on my first Camino that I got up to the Monte de Gozo, which is the hill just prior to Santiago. And I'd been warned by lots of friends like you on Ibas Forum that when you get into Santiago, you can feel a bit let down that it's all over. And I'd had that thought in my mind, but the journey had been so fulfilling and rewarding. It really was all about the journey. It wasn't about getting there at all.
No, that's true. That's true. And when you do get there, it's really only the beginning.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the next phase.
Yeah. Look how the Camino's changed your life.
Yeah.
And changed my life a lot.
Yes.
And so many people. David, it changed David's life.
Yeah.
And you may know Dan Mullins. From Pilgrims in Sydney. Changed his life. Yeah. He's doing the Camino podcasts now, and
that's amazing.
He wrote a Camino song.
Oh, there we go.
So, yeah.
It's about finding yourself, I think, isn't it?
It is. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we could go on for hours, Jenny. But people, maybe we'll just keep chatting, and whoever's watching this video, you can just
sure. Can I talk about the trailer?
Oh,
that was going to be my tip number 5.
Yeah.
Tip number 5 is bring a trailer. The trailer makes so much difference. You can walk really freely. It's if you have a trailer that's attached by a waistband, and you've got proper drawbars. Yeah. You can still walk with your poles if you would like to. Not necessary everywhere, but on the steep ascents and descents, it's like I recommend it anyway. It works for me.
Yeah.
And you don't get the sweaty back that you would do if you're carrying a backpack. Yeah. And there's less weight on your body, and so the risk of blisters is a lot less. And it's just the feeling of freedom. You can bring more. Yeah. In the way of gear, and particularly if you need to bring a lot of medications on the Camino, there's various reasons why people need to bring more than the recommended 10% of body weight in their backpack.
Oh yeah, I mean people bring CPAP machines and all sorts of things.
That's right, they do. They do. They do. They do.
Yeah.
And if you've got leg problems as well, if you walk with a trailer, it makes it easy in that respect. So for me, I wouldn't walk the Camino without my trailer spot now.
I fully appreciate that, and I might have to try one. And
No.
our mutual friend David, I know, is an aficionado of trailers, and his biggest tip is do not get a one-wheel trailer, get a two-wheel trailer.
That's correct.
Because they have very different weight distribution.
Yeah, so. That's correct. Yeah, and he's spent, oh gosh, about the last 3 or 4 years modifying and refining trailers. And the first trailer he made, I trialed it back in 2017, and it worked really well on the trail, but it wasn't good for transport, getting on planes and on buses and what have you. And so he modified that initial trailer, but now, and he also bought a trailer, a Dixon. No, was it a Dixon? It was a Radical by Design trailer, and which was a very expensive trailer, a beautiful trailer. But since then, he's made another trailer which folds down and packs down to be very, very, very small in size. And it's a better trailer than the Radical trailer, which was about 600 odd euros.
Wow.
So
must ask him for his design.
Yeah, exactly.
And the reason David carries a trailer, and this is not a prompt to get into another topic for another 30 minutes, but David does first aid on the Camino, and so he carries quite a lot of first aid gear. And you do as well. That's why you have. I've
accompanied him 3 times. I haven't done the first aid myself, but I've acted as a companion to him. Sometimes, if there's not many people on the trail and you see a female pilgrim who's limping, it's a good idea, like to have a reassuring female presence. There, and also it's company. Like I was company for David as well. Just as friends, we walked as friends. We had a terrific time. Lots of laughs, and lots of deep conversations. Yes.
And actually, I talked to him a couple of weeks ago about the whole first aid thing. So we'll put a link to that as well.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, and also Camino shop. He has an online store, which is called CaminoStore.org. And the profits from that store go to fund his Caminos.
He does to help.
And he doesn't take any of the money, any of the profits from that store for himself. It purely goes towards the first aid Caminos. So it's a very, it's a wonderful thing that he's doing. And he's so experienced. He's so experienced with first aid. He's great.
That's excellent. So just to recap, because we started talking about your 5 tips for the Camino. It was do a little bit of training, start off easy, walk slow, hydration, get the right shoes.
That's right.
Open-minded, be flexible.
Correct. And bring a trailer.
I'm not sure if that will go in overhead luggage on the plane, but
no,
yours lives with David in the UK, doesn't it?
No. It's spots here on the south coast of New South Wales at the moment. He's in a suitcase. He packs down into a suitcase.
Wow, that's excellent.
So it's great. It's great.
Jenny, I better let you go. We've been talking for ages. So
really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it, Rob. Good.
And just a warning, anyone watching who hasn't walked a Camino yet, you could become one of us, an addict, and all you want to do is sit around and talk Camino all the time. So thank you for watching, and thank you for joining us, Jenny.
Okay. Thanks, Rob. See you. All the best. Buen Camino.
Yes, buen Camino.